Hey everyone, it's Alan over at Cobblers Plus. Today, we've got a pair of Thursday boot captains. We're going to be doing something a little bit different, so come join us, check it out. You'll probably see it in the thumbnail, something interesting that's going on these, so it's going to be a fun one for sure. You definitely see something new. So, let's start. Alright everyone, so again, thank you for joining us. Like I said, we're doing these Thursday captains here, and we're resoling them with a Dainite. Off camera, I've gone ahead and taken apart the first one right there. I've got the midsole and everything off. The heel bases, if you've seen some of my previous videos, they're a pain in the butt to remove, and which is fine. That actually means that these are good leather stacked heel base, but kind of comes apart on us in layers because of how tough they are to remove. So I'm gonna make sure that I re-adhere everything. I'm not gonna really show that too much with the breakdown, but I'll kind of explain it. We are doing a Dainite sole on here that's channeled, and we're gonna go ahead and do the Triumph toe plates, which are these guys. And I know I've said it plenty of times, you know, you don't do toe plates on a rubber sole ever because it doesn't work, but today we're making the very first one-of-a-kind Thursday boots with a Triumph toe plate. So some of you may have seen another cobbler that's done the Lulu plates, which are these ones here, and those would be easier, definitely, because they're just a straight cut, but we're gonna make it a little bit harder on us today, and we're gonna do Triumph ones because they've got that little design there where you have to cut it out and everything, and it's a frustrating thing to do, but we're gonna have some fun with that. And I'll explain as we go along with why these toe plates are gonna hold up very well on these once we get to that point. But for now, what I'm gonna do is go ahead and break these ones down here, clean them out, get all that cork taken care of, and as we're going through the process, I'll stop and kind of explain some of the details. But for now, let's get this pain in the butt heel base off of there. All right, everyone. So we've got the next heel base off. I can't talk at all this evening, but I've got that one off. Same thing. We're gonna have to glue it up because it kind of peels apart. And started cutting through the sole here. I do have some toluene on here, which is this bottle to deactivate the adhesives, because this stuff is kind of a pain if you don't use a little bit of an adhesive. Sometimes it takes a little more effort, but these are getting conditioned and cleaned up anyways since we've got them here. Okay, and we still have the nails. You can probably see them sticking out. The nails we're going to be removing from the inside of the boot. If you're first time watching, typically these nails, they go on the inside of the boot to hold the heel bases on. I'll show you real quick. These guys sticking out here, so they go through the heel base like that, and they put them in through the inside, and that's usually underneath the insole. So we're going to pull up that insole just a little bit. Well, first things first, we got to make sure the sole is off completely. And one of the reasons also that these Thursdays, I got some of that glue there. These Thursdays heel bases are a little harder to remove is not only because the heel bases are a good leather base, but the rubber sole that they use from Thursday is a little bit on the softer side, so it's got some stretch to it. So when we're trying to pry off the heel bases, the heel pry, this guy here, likes to slide around and everything on us, and it just doesn't cooperate like most of the other shoes and boots that we work on. Alright, got that sole there. Okay, now we're going to grab our little crepe pad there. Got the insole up. And now we'll just hammer these long nails. This is the other thing is, the nails that they use on these are gripper nails, and they're one of the longer ones, which are usually saved and dedicated for Western style boots. But in order to secure the heel bases on very well, Thursday decided to use it on their boots as well. It's not a bad thing, it's just one of those extra challenges for a lot of cobblers to have to deal with, but I should probably show you. Look at how long those are. Typically you'll see, and this is after I cut off a portion of it, typically you'll see this one 5/8 inch right there. So you got 5/8 inch versus at least 7/8. These might even be what they call the 9/8, which is just over an inch long nail. So if you're buying a pair of Thursday boots, you buy direct, usually Thursday, thursdayboots.com. You can buy them off their website. You can be well assured that these heel bases are not coming up very easily. At least not on the person wearing them. But you actually see that a lot on a lot of other companies, but there we go. These are all prepped and ready, so I'm going to go ahead and clean all this cork out here that's left behind, clean up some of the edges to get some of that tacky glue off, because there's that glue right there. It's really tacky, so it's a lot easier to take it to the sanding belt and just kind of clean it off lightly, and then we'll move on to removing all the stitches from that welt. So I'll see you back in a second. Alright everyone, so we're back here with these now. Got the cork filled in, everything's glued up, and obviously there's no shank that's visible. The shank is actually embedded inside there. We do check it just in case we have to pry it out and everything, but this shank was in great shape, so thankfully we did not have to mess with that. But for now, we've got these midsoles. These come out of a sheet, so the leather is finished. These aren't our typical midsoles that we get that are pre-cuts. Unfortunately, our supplier's been out of stock of them for quite some time. It's starting to frustrate me, but we definitely need a leather midsole for what we're doing on these ones. Typically, we use a composite midsole, but because we're adding the toe plates on these, we need something that's a little more durable. Composite and rubber is just a little too soft and stretchy and everything. So I'm gonna stick these on the press, do the welt press on them, and then I'm gonna cut off the extra bit of leather that we have all around, and then rough all this up, and then get the Dainite sole glued up so that it can all cure, because I want this to fully cure properly before I do anything else to it as far as cutting into the sole for the toe plates. The toe plates are going to be very finicky. I'm going to go ahead and do the sole off camera. It's just a bunch of gluing and sticking together, but the toe plates, I'll do the first one off camera, and then the second one once I get all the kinks out of it. As far as what needs to be done, then I'll let you see what the whole annoying process will be like. But real quick, hopefully I don't get busted for this one, but look what I got. From a fellow cobbler out in Amsterdam, Marcel. He sent this over to me. He's got a cobbler shop. I'll get his information and I'll leave it in the description below if you want to check him out if you're out in Europe. Marcel does some awesome work. His patina work is phenomenal as well, and he sent me a little goodie box with this in here, and then some other stuff too, like these 3mm Triumph toe plates. What we're using for these shoes today is going to be 1.5mm. We got some 3mm in. I only got a few of them in. I can't use these, however, on these boots. It will just be a big mess. I do have to stick to the 1.5 millimeter version, just because that 3 millimeter is going to be just way too much for a rubber sole to handle. Plus, the cutting aspect is going to be a little too much work, in other words, too. But we're going to definitely get these guys on here one way or another. So, without further ado, I got to run this to the press. And once everything's all cured, I will see you back when it's time to cut the toe plates. Alright everyone, so got these guys done on this shoe here, but let me go ahead and do the other one real quick. So I've got the Lulu toe plates. We tried messing with the Triumph ones, but they just were not fitting at all. I mean, because of that nub right there, I'd have to basically cut through the nub, and I didn't want to do that, as great as it sounds and everything. Learn my lesson. Don't do them on the Dainites. Maybe we'll do that on a future video for another pair of soles. I probably should have just laid it out and seen if it fits or anything, but just was not wanting to cooperate. So I took my knife a little bit and I just did a small little cut just as a marking. You might not be able to see it off on camera, but I could definitely see it, and it's just enough for me to be able to see where that toe plate is going to hit. And it's very close to that first nub. Trying to do this at a certain angle for everybody to be able to see, but it's a little more difficult. First one was easier to cut. Now I'm doing this. I've noticed that something like this with the Lulu plates, a lot of cobblers, what they do is they just sand it, but it doesn't give a perfect 90-degree angle, and so I'll cut it beforehand. Especially with this rubber, I'm going to cut it first, because it helps me feel for the depth and everything. And that's one thing that a lot of people are more concerned about, is that depth, is to make sure that everything's good. Now the other portion, I'm going to go ahead and take it. I don't slice the rubber like I do typically with leather ones. That's what I do. I just start slicing it. But this is, after all, rubber. That's very hard to cut through it. So I'm going to take a portion of it, sand it, and then I'll be right back to do the final cut to let you see what that looks like. But because it's going to be a quick job on the sanding, I'm not going to readjust the camera to show all that. But you'll see what it looks like, at least after the sanding. Alright everyone, so just to give you an idea, so I don't know if the camera can catch the angles. Now it looks alright, but it's not a perfect 90-degree angle. So the toe plate, when it sits on here, just to give you an idea, it's not quite as flush. There's a few gaps here and there, but we're going to fix that. Again, I just need to sand out majority of it, and then some of this extra carefully slice off. Been getting a lot better with knife work, that's for sure. You need a good steady hand, plenty of practice. I get some people coming in that do their own toe plates. I had a pair just dropped off here this week at the time of this recording, and the gentleman took his shoes to the grinder and sanded through the stitches and everything like that, and it was a mess. Not as bad as a pair of John Lobs I did a video on a while back, back when we were at the old unit next door, and guy did his own toe plates, and oh man, those were on a pair of John Lobs, $1,000 plus shoes. That was terrible. But all right, we got that on there. It's nice and flush and everything. Beautiful. And I've got the holes tapped out on here a little bit already. I still got to do the other toe plate as well, just to give you an idea how we tap them out. And then I'm going to go ahead and sand out and rough up this back area, the heel area, and then also channel the sole. But I'm only going to channel around this whole back area. Once I get to the toe tips, though, I'm going to stop because I don't want to channel it. Otherwise, I'm going to cut straight through the sole with that channel machine, and we don't want to do that. We still want material left over that we can stitch through. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. It's actually the end of the day here today, and I unfortunately have to get going. So at this point, it's a good stopping point, and we'll see you all in just a little bit when it's time to continue on. All right, everyone. So we're back here again. We've got everything pre-channeled and ready to go. Again, we just stopped the channeling right there at the toes. We didn't channel through the toe itself. Otherwise, you can see the the difference in thickness there between the toe tip where it's going to go and the sole without it being cut out. But we're going to go ahead and stitch this up. Alright, so we got that taken care of. Now the next step is going to be to glue up the heel base. I'll go ahead and do that off camera. Oops. Off camera, at least so that they cure overnight, but I'm definitely not going to let you guys miss out on the toe plate, what I'm doing next with it. Heel base is kind of standard. I've done these resoles a number of times, but I thought I'd let everybody take a quick peek at it. So these are all ready to go and all stitched up. So go ahead and glue that down so it all cures overnight, because it's the end of the day here, and we'll be ready to go. Alright everyone, so we've got the heel bases all set and cured, and so it's time to put the heel plates on. I've got the other one on there already. Now we're going to put this one on. And do the little screws here. Okay. Now normally you don't do this in a rubber sole, obviously, because the screws, they just won't grip in the rubber itself. But we're able to take care of that because of the leather midsole. Okay. Otherwise, if it wasn't for the leather midsole, then these would pop off the first couple of wears, basically. Alright, and to match the rest of the boot, since they're a little more rusticy, we're going to be doing antique brass. I don't know if I already showed a little collection of different colored screws. We got silver, gold, antique brass, and black. So you got a few options if you want to. Thanks to Mr. Tony Y, he sent me a link to where I can get these screws and everything from a company. There we go. Now, obviously, if you're going to be trying to message me to say, hey, where can I get these screws and toe plates, I can't just be telling you all that, unfortunately, because that was something that I promised the gentleman. The other thing is that we don't want you trying to... we don't want you to try to attempt doing your own toe plates, because you might do something like that there, and we don't want that. These were cut straight through the stitches and everything, and not re-secured, and they weren't even cut. They were sanded, and it's a mess here. But this is actually a pair of shoes that we're going to be doing a video on, so make sure to check this one out. This video is going to be up before this one, obviously, because we haven't even started on these yet. But definitely keep an eye out for this one. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell icon to be notified when the video for these are up, where we'll talk in more detail about some grand stones, which is a new one for me to do a video on, so you'll be able to see the interior structure of them and everything. But for now, we're all done with the toe plates here. These guys are all on there nicely. And now, since the heel base is cured, I'm going to be able to pull up that insole right there and then run the nails in from the inside for the heel base, sand this up lightly. As you can tell, I like to leave the sole right here, if you can tell, flared out a fair amount. That way there's some extra playroom just in case, seeing how the heel sits, and then I can trim it up and make sure that it's flush. I do that on purpose. You can make it perfect initially, but you never know the variables to take into consideration. Something can always happen, and it's always good to have a little extra wiggle room to work with. After that, we're going to make sure everything's leveled, see how it sits, and attach the heel bases. I'm going to go ahead and do all that off camera because the main thing I was trying to show is the toe plates that we're doing for the Dainite soles. I've done videos on resole on a Thursday boot plenty of times. You can definitely check those out on our channel just to see overall construction and more details about the resole alone. But this one I really want to feature the toe plates. But when it's time to sand, we're definitely going to record so you can see all these little sparks flying from the toe plates, because obviously they are not a perfect fit. They're a little bit larger, and that's what you want, and that way you can sand it out flush. And we're going to do that, and you'll see all those sparks flying. So I'll see you in a minute. All right, everyone, so we've got everything finished out on the edging and stuff. It looks all shiny. I have to touch up, oh man, looks like I need to touch up that area just a smidge. See that right there? It looks a little bit rougher where that looks smoother. That can happen because we start out with the 24 grit sandpaper, and then we move on to the 100 grit, and then what's called the 100 grit numb keg. So I just got to touch that up, so I'll do that here in a minute. But for now, let's just double check. It looks like there's a few spots like there's some thread. If you ever have loose threads like this right here, if they're just loose, just clip it close and grab a lighter, which I usually have a bunch of lighters all around me, but these last couple of weeks I'm always missing a lighter. And just take a lighter to it and just burn it, because these are a nylon thread. The only time usually companies are supposed to use a cotton thread, which doesn't melt, is if they're a firefighter or welding style boot. Nylon is a little more durable against the overall environment, but will melt under extreme heats like fire or welding equipment. So just kind of as a heads up. But it's not going to just fall apart immediately either. So just wanted to say that. Now the other thing is we're going to clean up that toe tip right there, the toe plate. Just a little bit of acetone, clean off some of that wax, because the edging and wax really likes to get on there quickly, and we're just going to clean it up just a little bit. And then I'm going to clean off this edge. Now I could leave it brown, I can clean it off, but I think it'd be a good idea to clean it off, especially because this is the first pair of Thursday boots out there with a Dainite sole and a Triumph toe plate. Or not Triumph, Lulu toe plate. The Triumphs don't fit the Dainites, turns out. So, but it's kind of funny, actually. There's another cobbler out there. I know a number of you know him. Betos, that's Steve Declian. He did same exact thing, and I'm like, you do realize I got a pair in that's similar, and I was wondering what the heck is going on. Like, I was questioning his work to figure out what he was doing about it, and then sure enough, I get a pair in for the same exact thing, and I'm like, well, I figured it out. He won't admit it to me. Steve, you ain't admitting it to me, but I think I figured it out. So, anyways, yeah, just got that cleaned off there. I'm going to buff it real quick one more time because I got to touch up that one little spot there of the roughness. Otherwise, we're about done. We're just going to clean up the edging. This gentleman had this scuff here, so we're going to go through and condition it all. Make sure that everything's tip-top shape. And at this point, we're done. So that's how you do a Dainite sole with a Triumph toe plate on a pair of Thursday Boot Company boots. If you are wondering about the company boots, again, they're a phenomenal build for a great price point, so definitely check them out. I think it's thursdaybootcompany.com. I'll leave a link in the description below. I know Thursday's always checking out my videos. Thank you guys and gals that are watching the videos. I appreciate the love and attention. Definitely check them out. One of my last videos that I posted, it seems like everybody was kind of like, oh, you're kind of dogging this other company and stuff. You can check out previous history. I'm not really dogging the companies and everything. It's just I'm telling you from a perspective of a cobbler. You know, there's a lot of things you have to take into consideration. Obviously, this boot here is averaging about $200 and everything, which is great. You know, and the only reason why they can keep the price so low is because you buy directly from the company. You're not going through a middleman. And with that even said, too, even if you say you get them, you know, at $200, or if you pay what they would most likely at retail cost, which my estimation would probably be close to about between $400 to $500, depending on the model itself, I would say. That would be the normal retail cost if there's a middleman markup. That's just how it is. There's a lot of rules and regulations behind that, especially in North America, and because of that, the whole world has to follow as well certain protocol. That's what I'm just letting you know, but that's what they would end up most likely retailing for by the time all the taxes and stuff are paid and all those markups and stuff. That's what you're looking at for a pair of boots like this. But keep in mind also, when I do talk about certain companies, I'm talking about the particular build. I'm not comparing it to, you know, certain shoe or boot overall. I'm talking about what this company is doing for itself. The last video sounded like I was really just hammering away at that brand there, and it was just like, I'm sorry guys, that's not what I was after. It's just I was trying to point out the flaws in it. For that price point, you know, it's a great price point, but those are the flaws that you're going to find in that particular brand there. You can't compare even this boot here to a $1,200 shoe, which is meticulously crafted, you know, with a lot more detail and stuff. You know, where at this price point, this is phenomenal. This is a phenomenal boot. But you can't even compare this guy to a $1,200 boot. I'm sorry, you just can't. The type of leather, the meticulous, you know, detail, whether it's the welt, the way it's connected, you know, all these different things and aspects, you just can't compare it. I'm sorry, there's just no way. But it all comes down to your own decision. What's your wallet able to, you know, afford? Are you able to afford a $1,200 pair of shoes? Only a small handful of people are. I can't. I sure can't. I've got 2 pairs of boots actually of my own that are usual retail cost $1,200. You think I paid that? No way. No. Anyways, that's how it's done. Dainite sole, Lulu toe plate, and I just got to condition them up to make sure I fix up that scuff, and they're ready to go out the door. So hope you enjoyed it. Again, this is a new one. Not too many people would even try doing that there. If you liked it, make sure you give a thumbs up, because YouTube's algorithm apparently helps our channel grow even more the more people like the video and obviously share it. So give a thumbs up, share the video if you can, let your friends know about it, family members, whoever you want to do. I greatly appreciate it. We finally hit 1,000 subscribers and stuff. Thank you very much. I should probably try to get around to doing some kind of giveaway, but I've been so swamped with everything. My head is just fuzzy right now. I apologize, everyone. Hopefully I'll be able to try to do some kind of giveaway sometime soon, maybe do something special. But regardless, I appreciate all of you for watching. Thank you. If you haven't already, please do subscribe, and check us out at CobblersPlusCO. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook to see other things, because obviously I don't make a video on all the stuff that we do. You're probably going to see more frequent posts of at least pictures on either Facebook or Instagram. So definitely check that out. And again, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.